Ngozi sat by the small window of their one-room house, watching the rain fall hard on the dusty ground. The roof leaked in one corner, and she placed a bowl under it. Her mother coughed again from the mat where she lay, thin and weak, her chest rising with effort. Ngozi turned quickly and rushed to her side. "Mama, drink some water," she said softly. "I'm okay, my child," her mother whispered. But Ngozi could see that she was not okay. Her mother's sickness had grown worse in the past 2 months. The herbs no longer worked. The village healer said she needed to go to the city for proper treatment. But how could they afford that? They had no money, no relatives, nothing but each other. That evening, Ngozi sat outside in the dark, her stomach tight with worry. She looked up at the sky and spoke quietly. "God, please help me. I don't want to lose my mother, she is the only one I got." The next day, something unexpected happened. A car stopped near the market, and a young man stepped out. He looked rich, shiny shoes, clean shirt, smooth voice. He came from the city, looking for fruits to buy. Ngozi was helping sell mangoes that day. The young man smiled at her. "You have a pretty face," he said. Ngozi didn't reply. "My name is Remy," he added. "You?" "Ngozi," she replied. He started coming to the market every day, explaining that his visits were brief, as he was taking care of some family business. He took out a business card and handed it to her. "My father wants to keep me in the organic food industry," he said casually. "I'm learning how things are run." Ngozi didn't say much in response, but she noticed the sincerity in his eyes, a quiet humility in his tone. Over time, he brought her food and sometimes small gifts. His gestures were thoughtful, he was kind. He listened when she spoke about her mother. And one day, he offered to help. "I can give you money for her treatment," he said. Ngozi looked at him, surprised. "Why?" "Because I like you," he replied. She didn't know what to say. She just knew her mother was dying. And Remy had money. Ngozi sat under the tree behind the market, staring at the small envelope in her hands. It was full of money, more than she had ever held in her life. She touched it gently, almost afraid it would disappear. Remy had given it to her that morning. "This will help your mother," he said, looking into her eyes. "But I need you to trust me. Come with me for a while. Just the two of us." She didn't want to go. But her mother was coughing blood now. The hospital in the city had asked for payment before they would treat her. Ngozi had cried through the night. She had begged the nurse, begged God, begged the wind. Nothing worked. So when Remy offered to help, she agreed. He took her to a quiet lodge a bit far from where they were. It was her first time being alone with a boy. Her heart pounded the whole time. She kept thinking about her mother. Remy touched her gently. He kissed her neck. He whispered nice things. Ngozi didn't know how to stop it. She didn't know if she wanted to stop it. Afterwards, she felt strange, like something had changed. But she had the money now. That was all that mattered. She went home the next day and rushed her mother to the hospital in the city. The doctors took her in. They started treatment straight away. For the first time in weeks, Ngozi saw a smile on her mother's face. Days passed. Her mother began to eat again. She was much stronger. Ngozi felt hope and they returned to their village. But one morning, after 2 weeks of their return, her stomach turned. She ran outside and threw up. Another day, she felt dizzy and tired all the time. Her mother looked at her with worried eyes. "Ngozi," she said, "are you hiding something from me?" Ngozi looked away. "There is nothing," she said. Days passed. Ngozi sat quietly by the fire, stirring a pot of watery porridge. Her mother was getting stronger, her cheeks no longer so hollow. But every day, Ngozi felt weaker. Her body was changing, and she couldn't hide it anymore. That night, her mother watched her carefully. "You haven't eaten in days," Mama said. "I'm just tired," Ngozi replied quickly. "You throw up every morning. You sleep too much. You're always tired." Ngozi froze. Her heart thudded in her chest. She looked at the fire, not her mother's eyes. "Ngozi," her mother said firmly, are you carrying a child?" Ngozi's eyes filled with tears. She tried to speak, but the words stuck in her throat. Finally, she said slowly, "I don't know." Her mother sat back, breathing hard. Silence hung in the room like smoke. The fire cracked, and a lizard ran across the wall. "Who is the father?" her mother asked. "Remy," Ngozi whispered. "The boy from the market? The one with the car?" Ngozi nodded. Her mother stood up slowly. She walked to the window and looked out into the dark night. "You are only 18, she said softly. "And this was your first time." Ngozi cried. "I didn't know it would happen like this. I just wanted to save you, Mama." Her mother came and sat beside her. She held her close. "You did it out of love. I know. But now we must find this boy. He must take responsibility." "But I don't know where he lives," Ngozi said. Her mother's voice turned serious. "Then we must find out. Before the belly grows too big. Before people begin to talk." Ngozi's tears soaked her mother's shawl. Few days later, Ngozi's mother took her to a nearby clinic. Ngozi sat on a wooden bench outside the clinic, watching people walk past with baskets on their heads. A bird pecked at crumbs near her feet. The sun was hot, but she felt cold inside. For the past few weeks, she had felt different. Her body was not the same. Her chest ached. Her back hurt. She was always tired. The nurse checked her and asked a few questions. Then the nurse looked her in the eyes and said the word slowly, as if it would break something. "You are pregnant." Ngozi blinked. "Pregnant?" "Yes." "A little over 2 months." Her ears buzzed. Her hands trembled. She didn't know what to say. "But how?" "I've only, just once." The nurse gave her a soft look. "That's all it takes." Her mother looked at her, and sighed, confirming what she already knew. Ngozi and her mother walked home. When they arrived, she sat on the floor and cried. Not because she was carrying life, but because she didn't feel ready. She didn't understand. She placed her hands on her belly, still trying to understand what was happening. A baby. Inside her. She had only wanted to save her mother's life. She never thought something like this could happen, not from one mistake, one moment. Her mother sat across from her, deep in thought. Her face was tight, her eyes far away. "We have to find the boy," Mama said at last. "He must know. He must take care of this child. You will not go through this alone." Ngozi nodded slowly. "But I don't know where he lives. He never told me. He just came in a car. Said he was from the city. I don't even know his full name." Her mother's lips tightened. "What do you know?" "His name is Remy. He said his father owns businesses. He always wore clean clothes. And, once, he said something about Victoria Hill." Mama said. "That is a start." The next day, they packed small bags. Mama, feeling stronger than before, held Ngozi's hand as they boarded a dusty old bus to the city. The city was loud, fast, full of cars, noise, and people who didn't stop to look. They asked questions at shops. Some people shook their heads. Others laughed. "Too many rich boys named Remy in this city," someone said. They tried Victoria Hill. It was a rich area, with big houses and tall gates. No one let them in. Security guards chased them off. One man said, "You can't just walk here, you need to have an address and the name of the person you are looking for." Mama's face turned red with shame. But she said nothing. They slept under a bridge that night. And in the dark, Ngozi remembered Remy handing her a card. She searched her bag hoping to find it, but it was no there. "I must have left it behind the village." She sighed. Her mother squeezed her hand. "We will find him." The next day, Ngozi and her mother woke up stiff and cold under the bridge. The morning noise of the city had already begun. Honking cars, shouting vendors, children running past. Mama stretched her back slowly, wincing with pain. "I'm fine," she said, even though her face said otherwise. Ngozi helped her up. Her belly was growing, just a little. She placed her hand over it. She still didn't know how to feel. Sometimes she wanted to cry. Other times, she felt numb. But now was not the time for feelings. They needed answers. They returned to Victoria Hill and stood across the road from the estate. This time, they didn't go near the gates. They just watched. They waited for hours. Then, around late afternoon, a shiny black car drove out of the gates. Ngozi's breath caught in her throat. It was him. Remy. He was in the back seat, laughing with 2 other boys. He looked even richer than before, his clothes, his sunglasses, his easy smile. Ngozi wanted to run to him, to scream his name. But her feet stayed still. Her mother gripped her arm tightly. "Not yet," Mama whispered. "We follow." They quickly got into a yellow taxi and pointed at the car ahead. "Follow that car," Mama said. The driver raised an eyebrow but did as he was told. They followed the car through winding roads until it stopped in front of a tall, glass building. Remy and his friends went inside. Ngozi's heart pounded. That place, the driver said, is a private club. Rich people go there. You can't enter unless you're a member or invited. Her mother stared at the building, her jaw tight. Then we wait. They sat on a low wall nearby, watching. Hours passed. Ngozi began to feel dizzy. Her body was tired. Her belly ached. Then, just as the sun began to fall, Remy stepped outside, alone. Her mother stood. Now. Ngozi followed her, her knees trembling. Remy! Mama called out. He turned. And when he saw them, his smile disappeared. Remy looked at them like they were strangers. His hands dropped from his pockets, and he took a step back. Ngozi, he said, confused. Then his eyes shifted to her belly. Her mother stepped forward. You remember my daughter. You helped her with the money needed for her dying mother. She is carrying your child. Remy's face changed. His smile was gone. He looked side to side, like he didn't want anyone to hear. You can't just show up like this, he said sharply. This isn't your village. Ngozi's heart fell. Remy, it's true. I'm pregnant. I didn't know. But now I do. And you. He cut her off. I don't know what you're talking about. You gave me money, Ngozi said, stepping closer. You said you liked me, that I could trust you. I help many people, he said quickly. That doesn't mean anything happened. Her mother's eyes narrowed. Don't lie, boy. You brought her to a lodge. You used her. She was desperate. She saved my life because of what you gave her. But now. You have no proof, he snapped. No one saw anything. No one will believe this. You're just village people looking for money. Ngozi gasped. His words felt like stones thrown at her chest. Her mother took a deep breath, her voice calm but heavy. You think you're safe because you have money. But life will follow you. This child will be born with or without you. But your name will be known. Remy looked around nervously, then turned and walked away fast, heading back into the building. Ngozi felt her legs weaken. She sat on the sidewalk, tears running down her face. Mama, she whispered, he left us. Her mother sat beside her and pulled her close. No, my daughter. He only ran from the truth. But truth has legs. And it never stops walking. The next morning, Ngozi woke up with a heavy heart. They had slept in an unfinished building near the main road, where wind crept in through broken walls. Her mother covered her with an old wrapper, rubbing her back gently as she stirred awake. She didn't want to face the day. What was the point now? Remy had denied her, acted like she was dirt beneath his shoe. She thought he cared. She thought what they shared meant something. She was wrong. Her mother stood and said, We are not going back to the village yet. Ngozi looked up. Why not? He doesn't want us. He doesn't care. He may not care, Mama said. But people will. We speak to the ones who know him. The guards. The drivers. The market women. Someone will listen. They returned to the streets near the tall building. Mama began asking questions again. She asked a cleaner, then a cake driver, then a woman who sold roasted maize. At first, everyone said no. But slowly, whispers began to grow. One driver leaned close. That boy? He gets many girls. You're not the first. Another woman said, His father is a big man. Owns half the shops on Oak Street. A guard said, The boy's mother baby him too much. His father doesn't know half of what he does. Then one evening, a quiet man came to their spot by the building and said, I heard what happened. I drive the boy sometimes. Ngozi's eyes widened. Can you help us speak to his parent? The man looked around nervously. It's risky. But maybe. Come tomorrow. I will try. Try speaking to the dad. He is the serious one. He may listen to what you have to say. His mother not so much. The next day came slowly. Ngozi barely slept the night before. Her mother's cough had returned, and her legs were swollen from walking too much. But still, they got up before the sun and waited by the tree near the glass building. Just as the clock passed noon, the quiet driver appeared. He waved them to follow, glancing over his shoulder like someone being watched. He led them through back streets, away from the busy main roads. Finally, they reached a large black gate. A guard stood in front, but when he saw the driver, he nodded and let them in. The compound was huge. There were flowers, fountains, and a big house with golden windows. "Wait here," the driver whispered. "I will talk to the bus." Ngozi's heart pounded as they sat on a bench in the garden. Her hands were sweaty, and her head spun with worry. What if his parent didn't believe them? What if he threw them out? After what felt like forever, a tall man in a white shirt walked toward them. He looked strict, with sharp eyes and gray at the edges of his beard. "I am Mr. Oladil," he said. Ngozi and her mother stood up slowly. "I was told you are carrying a child. And you say it belongs to my son?" "Yes, sir," Mama answered. "My daughter is 18. She was trying to save my life. Your son offered her help, then disappeared." Ngozi looked at the ground. She couldn't bear to see his face. Mr. Oladil was silent for a long time. Then he said, "Remy is foolish. This is not the first mess he has created." Ngozi looked up, surprised. But he added, "If this child is truly my blood, I will not abandon it. You must prove it." Ngozi blinked. "How?" "A test," he said. "If it is true, I will help you. But lie to me, and you'll regret it." He turned and walked away. Ngozi stood frozen. The truth had brought them here. But now, it had to speak again, through proof. Few days later, Ngozi sat nervously in a quiet hospital waiting room, holding tightly to her mother's hand. Her belly had grown more noticeable, and the baby moved inside her now, small flutters, like whispers in the wind. Mr. Oladil had paid for the DNA test, though he barely said a word when he arranged it. He told them, "If it's true, I'll do what is right. But if it's not, leave and never return." The fear that the test might somehow fail her lingered. Mr. Oladil walked in with his wife. Remy's mother looked at them both, up and down, and said, "So you think you found your tree to get money from, lying about my son impregnating you? Let the result speak for itself." "This is not the first time your son has done this," Mr. Oladil said. Then, the doctor came in, holding a brown file. He looked from Ngozi to her mother, then to Mr. Oladil, who stood stiffly in the corner with Remy's mother. "The test results show," the doctor said slowly, "that Mr. Remy Oladil is the father of Ngozi's unborn child." Silence filled the room. Ngozi's heart beat loudly in her ears. Mr. Oladil closed his eyes, took a breath, and sat down. His voice was tired. Mrs. Oladil stood silent. She didn't say anything else. "I believed it from the beginning," he said. "But I needed the truth. My son is lost. But this child is not." He looked at Ngozi. "You will not suffer again. I will make sure of it." Tears rolled down Ngozi's face. Not just from relief, but from the weight of everything she had carried alone. Weeks passed. A small home was arranged for her and her mother. Doctors now checked on her often. Food was no longer a worry. When her baby boy was born, Ngozi held him close and her mother, holding them both, said softly, "The truth has legs, Ngozi. It walks slowly, but it always arrives." They both smiled and Ngozi knew she wanted to do something. She wanted to train to be a qualified nurse. After her son turned 1 year, she has managed to start training in nursing, while her mother helped with the child.